The legislative session has started across the nation for many states, Colorado and Virginia, Tennessee included. Yeah, the Virginia Democrats really wanted to show they were not playing around this session. They did a lot of things. They discriminated against white people. New car taxes, new sale tax, 20-cent tax on every Amazon delivery, assault weapons bans, guarantee illegals, aliens free education, replace Columbus Day, highway use fees, abortions up to birth, mandate racial bias training, make it illegal to hand count ballots, eliminate mandatory minimum sentencing for rape. I mean, the taxes are one thing. For a party that wants to sit there and claim affordability, to sit there and then immediately go raise the taxes on practically everything is not exactly keeping in line with your word. Mrs. Abigail Spamberger, I believe that's her name. But you can see once that governor got in with exactly what we thought was going to happen, it is what happened. You can see here Christian Hines said Democrats in Virginia have introduced a bill to eliminate mandatory minimum sentencing for rape, manslaughter, assaulting a law enforcement officer, possession and distribution of child pornography, and all repeat violent felonies. They also introduced a bill to where in court you couldn't mention the accused criminal's prior convictions to the jury during the guilt phase of the trial. So if a serial murderer that has a history of murder that's being released onto the streets can't be referred to as a serial murderer because you can't refer to his prior murders. That is insane. Absolutely insane. Let's move on to Tennessee. Has a House bill in would protect the manufacturers of pesticides from civil damages. Be insecticide, fungicide, rodenticide. So these are chemicals that stop. These are chemicals that are widely illegal in a lot of the world already, and they do. We know they cause cancer. We know they cause health issues. And getting those out of our food supply and using better chemicals would be absolutely beneficial to the American populace. And doing something like this and allowing these companies to have immunity would not be beneficial for the American public. Over the next 250 years as we produce and grow our food here. So this is a bill introduced by Senate Bill 26 of 1040. I'll be talking about a lot of these Senate bills as they come into session and as we go forward here in Colorado. So, the sterilization rights of a person with disabilities. This bill requires basically if somebody is an intellectually disabled person, that they receive counseling on the long-term impacts of sterilization, and basically they have to go through counseling and have permission. And if they don't give permission, the bill expressly states that they will protect their fertility rights. So this is a great bill by Ken DeGraff here. For HB 261056, prescription drug benefit information transparency. So this is actually really beneficial for some of the like uninsured, to be able to see how much their prescription drug is, to just buy it over the counter, or not over the counter, but without insurance. Sometimes it's cheaper that way. So yeah, good for Canada Graph putting this in there. That is absolutely a wonderful thing to be able to have that cost information available to consumers. Now this is actually one I want to bring up. I am recording. This is the original image that was used for the image generation, and this is the AI version of when it's absolutely naked. This shouldn't be legal. It should be a crime to do something like that. Colorado here in SB 26-1049, Representative Scott Bottoms and Senator Mark Baisley introduced to prohibit use of personally identifying features. So it says the bill criminalizes the use of individuals' fingerprints, voice print, retina, iris, or facial map, personally identifying feature, in an advertisement, deepfake, image, video, voice recording, or other digital depiction without the individual's permission. Unlawful use of a personally identifying feature. Unlawful use of a personally identifying feature is a Class 5 felony. And unlawful use of a personal identifying feature with the intent to harm the individual, another Class 4 felony. An individual harmed by unlawful use of a personally identifying feature may bring civil cause of action and collect damages and reasonable attorney fees. So this would open a pathway for the prevention of unpermissed AI use, or basically faking, the image generation stuff everybody does on Twitter of the governor, making fun of him. Like that, you wouldn't necessarily be able to do that without the governor's permission, without it being a crime, if that were to happen. There are this bill here by Dan Woog and Rebecca Stewart, HB 26-1052, the rights for victims of certain crimes. This is for the purposes of Victims' Right Act. The bill prohibits a defendant or alleged offender from being the lawful representative of a victim or the victim's designee if the victim is a child or an at-risk adult. This bill creates new rights for a victim under the Victims' Rights Act, including the right to be notified by a district attorney if they leave the residence, referred to as an abbreviation, pseudonym, initials, or other preferred name during hearings and in communications. Request forensic medical evidence to be collected, be retested if a crime laboratory employee engaged in wrongful action, and be heard at a court proceeding involving an application to the court for the issuance of a subpoena for restitution records. So that's that. Rights for victims of certain crimes. This is, it sounds like a good bill. Protections for agricultural products grown in Colorado. So this is some kind of just lawfare stuff. But identifying an agricultural product as being produced in the state when selling, marketing, advertising, or distributing the product, unless the product is grown in the state, and using the Colorado Proud designation or logo unless authorized by the Department of Agriculture. So basically, like, your local Colorado honey wouldn't be able to call itself Colorado honey unless it were to be going and you have an authorization through the Department of Agriculture. Whereas right now, somebody can just write Colorado honey and sell it at a farm stand, totally legal. So that's what they were. They just want to get more bureaucracy involved. It's all. It's just all more bureaucratic nonsense, from my eyes. There. This is the one that really I got a kick out of, though. Regina English and Junie Joseph. Measures to improve black maternal health equity. Stop funding abortion. Be the easiest thing you could do to stop black children dying in the womb or before birth. But when you go into it, it has some stuff. But the fact that we're writing laws to improve black maternal health equity, it's like, what do you mean? What do you mean improve? Oh, they're gonna force you to take you have to take at least one credit hour on the topic of cultural competence and equity in maternal care. So more re-education and authorizing the Department of Public Health, Environment, subject to available appropriate. So the biggest thing is they're going to force you to take and the more education part for you to be a doctor, or at least a OBGYN doctor. And then the ban of government purchase of personal data from a third party. I really like this one. So basically, it would prohibit the government from taking your cell phone number and purchasing all your internet data for whatever purpose they have with it. But it would make it illegal for the government to purchase our data. I think California has a law similar to this, but I'm not 100% sure on that one. I'd have to look into that a little bit. But I do, definitely support this law. Jennifer Bacon, Kendra Graff, Lisa Cutter, great work on this bill. Hopefully it actually gets in, because this is great for all Coloradans and private businesses to not be targeted by their government. And this one here is one that concerns federal immigration. So SB 26005. I know federal immigration is a hot topic right now. A lot of people don't want to say get the fuck out of the country if you don't want to be here, or you're not supposed to be here. And I don't think that's very hard to say. If I could start deporting people, I'd start with these white liberals, women first. But rights violation, immigration enforcement remedy. So basically, this is just putting in is a bill to try to put into law that if somebody is injured while immigration enforcement is doing their job, that they can seek civil remedy from the immigration enforcement, which I think you can already kind of do that as long as you don't end up getting deported. But if you end up getting deported, it's pretty hard to seek remedy from outside the country for something that happened in your deportation process. And then if they were to come back over again to seek remedy after they've been deported, you know that they have crossed your border twice illegally. So now they're a repeat offender in that issue. So either way, you can just kick them out of the country. It's pretty easy. They shouldn't be here in the first place. But that is all the bills I have for you today. Mostly watching Virginia do exactly what I thought they're going to do. Virginia is going to speed run becoming California, New York, or Colorado. Colorado took 8 years or more to get here under Jared Polis. There's a large portion of people that like it to continue that way. There's a large portion of people that are pretty fed up with the high tax rates that we have, and where we're at as a nation. I was just reading on here. We'll go. Right here. National defense must be national defense must be the highest federal priority by Mike Rosen. And there's some actual war stuff here. But I want to read a section of this right here. The U.S. gross national debt is now 39 trillion, 8 trillion greater than our GDP. The total output of our economy during World War II, when defense spending took 85% of the federal budget of our national debt peaked at 119% of GDP. Well, today, with the nation at relative peace, our debt burden is even higher at 128% of GDP. In 1981, in 1981, it was 32%. This is worsening and unsustainable. Creeping socialism is driving us to fiscal insolvency. Taxes are already too high. National defense is our government's paramount duty, the prerequisite for security, freedom, and prosperity. So, that's pretty much where we're at economically, is getting those rates to come down. Our interest payment on the debt is higher than the GDP of most countries. So that's just the reality. Yeah. So it says Governor Polis stated the state energy claims failed the smell test. So let's see what this says here. Governor Jared Polis addressed the Colorado legislature in his final State of the State address last week. Polis repeatedly invoked his efforts to build low-cost energy, but it's the very same wind, solar, battery storage, and electric vehicles that will make higher energy prices for Coloradans his legacy. Between January 2019, when Polis entered office, and October 2025, the latest data from the Energy Information Administration, the average residential electricity price in Colorado has risen from 91 cents to 16.26 cents per kilowatt hour. That's up 36% compared to an increase of 30% in the wider mountain region since 2004. When Colorado enacted its first renewable portfolio, standard all-sector electricity rates in Colorado have risen from an average of 6.95 cents to 12.8 cents in October of 2025. That isn't coincidence. The legislature passed an aggressive bill in 2019 requiring the power sector to reduce CO2 emissions by 80% by 2030, and with a 2023 law, reach 100% renewables by 2050. Meeting those mandates will require retiring 10 more major coal-fired units before 2031, or 4,200 megawatts of nameplate capacity, which planned wind and solar cannot reliably replace. It's worth noting, too, that Colorado fell short of its first statutory requirement to reduce emissions overall by 26% by the end of 2025, though not for lack of trying. The Independence Institute, in conjunction with Always On Energy Research, found that the Polis administration has underestimated the cost of getting Colorado to 100% zero emissions by 2040. True costs would add $114.3 billion compared to the operating of the current grid, and another $214.6 billion through 2050, while creating massive blackouts. Polis also took shots at the Trump administration's moves to delay premature retirements of coal-fired generation in Colorado, saying that Washington, D.C. is tipping the scale toward expensive, out-of-date coal production that drives up costs. But the high costs that the ratepayers are seeing now are due to blue state choices to pursue emissions reduction targets at the expense of affordability, reliability, and physics. In fact, an AOER report finds that 86% of the states with electricity prices above the national average voted for the Democrat presidential candidates in 2020 and 2024. 80% of the 10 states with the lowest electricity prices are red states. Electric car welfare. Polis claims about electric vehicles and the oil and gas industry during his state address is also worth examining. Is the oil and gas industry thriving, as Polis said? Colorado's oil and gas production peaked at 577,000 barrels a day in November of 2019. A mere 11 months after Polis assumed office, he hasn't recovered. That's thanks to Senate Bill 1981 and its intended regulations, which fundamentally changed the mission of the state Oil and Gas Commission from promoting to preventing oil and gas development. Polis said that in 2019 there were 1,800 electric vehicles driving around Colorado, and 204,000 today. which has cut emissions by almost 600,000 tons of carbon dioxide this year. That sounds very impressive, but the Department of Energy data suggests that in 2024, the 127,000 electric vehicles registered in Colorado were only 2.3% of all registered vehicles in the state. Taxpayer money backs every purchase and EV purchase in Colorado. Currently, Colorado offers the most generous subsidies for EV purchases, and in November of 2025 raised its rebates to $9,000 for new EV purchases and leases, and $6,000 for used EVs. Prior to the phase down of the federal EV tax credit last September, Colorado could capture up to $26,000 in tax incentives. Colorado wants 940,000 electric vehicles by 2030, so Polis and his successor was merely to register 736,000 more EVs in the next 4 years, or about 7 times the average rate of EV registrations between 2019 and 2025. So that's the gist of that. There's a little more in the conclusion here, but they want it, to say it's all clean energy, and they want to get rid of all the coal, which is understandable to a certain degree. Coal is maybe a little dirtier than your natural gas or certainly your nuclear power. We don't have any nuclear power plants here. So if Colorado really wanted to go zero emission, the most efficient way to do that is through going nuclear. Nuclear energy is the cleanest energy we have, and it's one of the safest as well. So as long as you're not Fukushima.